Now, after all the struggles and all the mixtapes and all the bullshit and all that, I got you, son. You came out with the debut.
Right.
How did that feel? How was the release? To know that, you know, your whole life leads up to that first album.
Right.
How did it feel to actually be on tape?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was a gift and curse for me because I was happy to get it out. I was happy to see my name in stores. I think in my mind as a kid, I wanted it bigger. I wanted more. Some of the songs, I'm used to doing mixtapes where you can almost change shit up until that last 2 weeks. And with the album, you gotta turn it in and sit for 3 months. And it was killing me. I was like this. I don't even like the songs anymore. I was so used to changing stuff. So again, it was I had to count the blessing and say this is a beautiful thing, but at the same time I was so nitpicky. So getting another opportunity, I just want to start earlier and really go in and get the sound I want. But I have to say it was a blessing, man. I have to thank Chamber Music and E1 and just everybody involved that helped me get it out.
I'm gonna keep it funky with you, man. You, Fashion, and the kid Skyzoo, to us, kind of had the same album, but from different perspectives. It was kind of like a walk through your life from the birth to now. And my site personally gave you all very, very high marks. It was a very interesting walk through each perspective, understanding that, yeah, it's the same album, but they don't sound anything alike, and they took different paths towards crafting that narrative. You know, how much of you is in that album? I can hear the soul of it. I can hear the person of it, you know, especially when you start talking about love.
Right.
And we know common people.
Yeah.
So it was to me personally, it was gripping to hear it. You know, kind of knowing that exists.
Yeah.
How much of that energy is you, and how much of that passion, you know, just speaks to everything that you had before that album was released?
I mean, a lot of it's my experience. You know, it was certain songs. Now, I respect the similarities to Fashion and Sky. I just tried to put certain things on there that I know nobody was thinking of. Like the Smelly Cat song, I don't think anyone could do.
No, I would. All jokes aside, you know, we value that.
Yeah.
We mark that point in history with those records.
Blasphemy, people aren't doing that. They're not cursing out God on record. But a lot of that is just years of me going through things and seeing other people going through things. Saying the song "I Wish I Was You." You know, that's a lot of my personal experiences of women that wanted to be with me, and me saying that I wish I could know how it feels to love somebody like that and just want to be with them unconditionally. And growing, you know, as you grow, you get to feel, to reach things like that, to reach those experiences. So I tried to combine a lot of life things that people really go through and put them on songs. Even the I Believe record, there's another record I don't think a lot of people would do, is to say, look, I don't have a denomination, I don't have a religion, I don't go to church every Sunday, but I believe there's a higher power. I believe there's, you know, something that's guiding me. There's a spirit out there. No, I'm not gonna call myself a Christian or whatever, but don't look at me crazy if I walk into a church dressed like this, you know, because I don't look like you, or because I'm not there every week, that I don't believe, or that my faith is not as strong as yours. So again, I don't think I nailed it musically because I had these grand ideas. And I hear the production on those albums that I'm compared to, and they were better than mine. But I think the concepts I had and where I wanted to go, it was a valiant effort. And it was just me, you know what I'm saying? It was really me. At the beginning with the child going into my voice, nobody's doing that, you know what I'm saying? So I just, you know, I tried.
Now, you being from Brooklyn, how much did the linear progression of Ready to Die, how much did that kind of factor into it? When you see the baby on the album cover, you hear the intro and you hear boom, you go from Superfly to Doggy Style, and you see it going amp and year after year after year, and it goes higher. How much did that influence the narrative of how you.
Biggie's whole career, you know, it influenced me. Anything narrative influences me, and he was a storyteller. And that Ready to Die, even Life After Death, even from Jay's albums, where it's like, you know, you can follow things, and that's, to me, that's what keeps people gravitated. They want to hear a story. They want to know more about you. So my narrative style comes from that. It comes from the Brooklyn lineage and me listening to rappers and kind of just following that mode. And I love it, man. That's why I do music, you know.
Well, sometimes in basketball, you have point guards that are faster than everybody else.
Right.
But they're not really effective because they can only go fast. I've been listening to you for a while, and in 2006 or 2007, you underwent a change and you learned how to control the pace of your rhymes.
Right.
You used to deliver line after line after line after line, and nobody, you wouldn't give people a chance to digest it.
Right.
But after 2007, 2008, to me, as a listener, you learned how to give people a chance to digest it. You'd hit them and hit them and hit them, and then step back.
Right.
And then come back and hit them again.
Yeah.
So like that song you got with Joe Budden and Styles P, you know, you all came from a different perspective on the ghetto, but the way you hit it was just boom, 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 step back.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 step back. Did somebody breach that to you, or was it just self-discovery and, you know?
It's a little of both. People would always say, I have songs like Over Your Head where I realize, hey, I might be over people's heads, or people will say I'm too fast, or, you know, I'll be like, yo, you're listening too slow and things like that. But I started to think about just speaking to people, and I had to develop a way to kind of slow it down without dumbing it down. Because in the past, when I've slowed it down, I lost listeners, and people would hit me like, yo, I don't like when you do that slow stuff. I like when you hit them fast, whatever. And I'm like, nah, it has to be a way that I can satisfy both listeners, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're a writer, you want to just wow people every line. Like, you're not even letting them finish the punchline before you get in the next one. And actually, my boy Will was one of the people that told me, he was like, yo, you had this rhyme where you killed it, and then you kept on killing it, and I couldn't catch what you said the last bar.
It's like stabbing a guy that got shot in the street. He dead already.
Yeah, and I listen to people like Grav and Corey Guns, and to me, they're totally talented, gifted writers, and if you read these lyrics, you would be wowed like 10 times over. But the average listener, the average female, may not be able to follow everything, so I said, okay, I gotta be able to speak to her. You know what I'm saying? And that was my thing.
But even, okay, so let's say if the hallmark of lyricism is communication, aren't you doing yourself a disservice? If you let's look at Jay-Z's career.
Right.
It didn't really take off till he stopped going so fast.
Right.
And it's not like he got lyrically worse, he got lyrically better. If you look at the density of Reasonable Doubt. But he learned to say, okay, maybe this is too fast. It's not necessarily that you dumbed it down, but you slowed it down. And pace is an important thing. You look at Andre Miller. He ain't the fastest point guard, but he switches speeds, and he's an effective pace changer.
Yeah. So
you can't check him, because even if he's going slow, he can go slower or he can go faster.
So, you know what? I was listening to a lot of Young Jeezy and trying to figure out the difference between his punchlines and mine. And a lot of writers that tend to use a lot of punchlines or too many words, you know, it's ego. We get obsessed with ourselves. We think we gotta wow people. We gotta keep saying the slickest, illest shit over and over and over and over. And sometimes you can just take some words out. Just Blaze told me this too. Yeah. And you can still have that potency the way you say it. So you know, I train rappers now with this same thing. And I've learned it. You know, sometimes I still do a little too much rapping wise. I still put some words in there. Sometimes I have to revise and edit. But you're right. Like, Biggie was known because he could reach folks. I don't think the underground rappers or the spitters were necessarily better than him. I think that he took what he did and put it into a commercial format and said, I'm gonna still kill you with lines and wit. You know, I'm gonna just say, you know, raw nights I perform like Mike, anyone, Tyson, Jordan, Jackson. You be like, did he just say that? Like, but that slow for you to get it? So, yeah.